I think that there's, perhaps a difference between having an educated, realistic view about, what is this vote and what is this person possibly going to accomplish or not, versus maybe an unjustifiable exuberance about, oh, we'll just elect Obama and the world will be great. And, the reality is I'll be shocked if he closes Guantanamo. I'll be shocked if he rolls back any of these domestic spying policies. I'll be shocked if he gives us any, real substantive help on affording higher education. And maybe he'll do these things or do part of these things. But we'll see.
Yeah. I guess there's that danger, and I catch myself doing it too, is thinking that the election is sort of the finish line. Like, that's the end. Right.
And back to that Howard Zinn piece that I posted, not the finish line, just more like, maybe the start of the second lap or something like that, or something. I don't know how to extrapolate that to some catchy little thing. But,
so this is kind of tricky because it's been a while since we've had sort of potentially sympathetic character in the White House. Where are the, just like Gitmo, how does just folks see to it that he holds to that campaign promise?
You want me to answer that question?
I mean, it's
oh man, that's a lot harder than
but
I
thought.
But
that's like, is it a write letters to the WHO and take to the streets for? I mean, it's like, what actually works?
Maybe. Yeah, well, that's a great question, and I don't know if the answer is so black and white. I don't know if I should sit here and pretend like I have the answer, because if I did, I probably would be out there doing that.
Doing it right now, right?
But I think writing letters, that sounds great. Taking to the streets when appropriate and what context appropriate, sure, that sounds great. The truth of the matter is I think, or a larger truth of the matter, I think, is that the whole entire thing is about money. It's about people making money, me making money to pay my bills, and people higher on the pecking order than me making more money to buy their yachts and stuff. And I think the real power of persuasion that we have comes in our ability to kind of remind people with more power who get a little more comfortable, maybe, your power. And this is one of the limitations I see on electoralism is, we put you there. Let's not forget, we voted for you, but you're overseeing this bigger picture thing that we're willing to take part in, but you kind of got to play by what we deem as reasonable rules. And so I think that organizations, union organizations, tenants' rights organizations, community or neighborhood organizations, all these ways that we can come together and show ourselves as more powerful than just isolated individuals walking around.
Expand the parameters.
Really, I think, is really the path towards being able to have a real check and balance on powers.
Right. I can't help but think of the blogosphere, because now there's sort of an ongoing dialogue that doesn't have, some media corporation in the middle filtering it, and we have kind of like, I don't know, it's an activism, but it's not like event-based activism. It's just sort of continuous. And maybe is that just, hoping on that technology? Have you seen that create new avenues for us that are yet to even be, they're just beginning to be tapped?
Oh, I think absolutely. I think that, I think a lot of the problems that I see in the world are compounded greatly by the fact that, if you go to the newspapers or the cable TV networks or whatever else to try to understand events, you know, the economic crisis or anything else. You know, you're getting a particular perspective that's highly controlled by a particular interest. And you get out into the internet and the blogosphere, and you know, there's probably more garbage to sift through out there. But there's also some pretty legitimate and well thought out avenues and ways of looking at the conversation that you're just not going to hear on CNN.
Let's talk about the legitimate, well thought out stuff. You want to share with us how you started Integral Psychosis and why you started it?
Yeah, I started it. You know, I've just always loved writing, and I'm fairly opinionated. And I'm good friends with J.D. Ryan of 5 Before Chaos fame.
Yeah.
And so I was just, you know, he had mentioned his blog here and there, and I had never really checked out the blogs before, and checked out his site, and then I started going over to the Green Mountain Daily, and you know, seeing the conversation going over there, and you know, I'm just kind of a political geek in a lot of ways, and it was kind of like, oh man, you mean I could sit around in my house at you know 2 in the morning and you know talk about weird policy stuff and all that, you know, and that was really exciting to me, and so you know, and you know, and JD said, well, you know, it's free. I can help you set up this blog thing and do whatever you want, write whatever you want. And you know, it took me a little while to kind of think about that and chew it over, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And you know, I love writing, and it's just been a great outlet for you know, not only exercising that, but you know, in this weird self-reflective way, it really lets you explore your own ideas. And you know, one of my favorite things is. Two of my favorite things, you know, following how many people are coming to my site and reading a particular thing, you know, what's resonating with people, and then, you know, and then when people comment on something and engage in it, and it's really that sounding board that, you know, if I write something and I get 4 people who come over and say, you know, you're nuts, then, you know, I either, well, I could do a lot of, I could just dismiss them, but, you know, but it's this real great self-reflective kind of check on, you know, what did I say? Am I nuts? Like, is it, you know? So I enjoy that. You know, it's good to have somebody remind you of when you're, you know, off in La La Land, or when you write something that people, you know, really resonates with them.
Connect with them, yeah. I'm getting the word we have a minute. So you have a minute to chew over the governor's race. What just happened here with the divided left and unity ticket potential in
yeah, you know,
2010?
I don't even really know. You know, I think that there's most everything that I've read and most everything that I've heard people say, and definitely my opinion, is that Gay Symington ran a pretty weak campaign. And you know, Anthony Polina, he's got a lot of positive points to him. There's also a lot of entrenched dissatisfaction with him, and you know, I think he just might be the wrong guy to be a unifier for the left, and so there you go. I mean, I think that you have a lot of people who voted for Douglas who had no interest in voting for Douglas,
broke 50%.
But just didn't like either of those choices.
Yeah, maybe Bernie can come in and broker a Democratic progressive truce, and we'll have like they have in Minnesota, where they have the Democratic Farmer Labor Party. Wouldn't that sound nice?
That sounds good to me.
Okay, that's on tap, people. So look for that party at your next election. Thanks a lot for coming in, Wes. That was great. We could have kept talking. There sure is a lot on the table right now. VTblogosphereTV is signing off, and don't forget to celebrate, people. Bye-bye.
For even as we celebrate tonight, we know the challenges that tomorrow will bring are the greatest of our lifetime. 2 wars, a planet in peril, the worst financial crisis in a century, Even as we stand here tonight, we know there are brave Americans waking up in the deserts of Iraq and the mountains of Afghanistan to risk their lives for us. There are mothers and fathers who will lie awake after their children fall asleep and wonder how they'll make the mortgage, or pay their doctor's bills, or save enough for their child's college education.